What is good, people? I'm your host, Mojo, and today we're going to talk about the Georgia State Panthers. Now, friends, if you hadn't heard, Georgia State is on fire right now. We have started out 6-1, and we've been looking good, but it hadn't always been that way for Georgia State. It's been a rocky road. I've been a fan for the past 11 years, and it hadn't always been easy. Like Georgia State, we had some ups and downs. When we made the transition to FBS, it was some hard times there. But seeing what the team has done this year, and seeing really what Sean Elliott has built over the past 7 years, it's impressive, and I see nothing but a continued ascent for Georgia State. So let's talk about it. There's a few things I want to cover with you. Let me first talk about the quarterback history here at Georgia State. Now, we started off with a fabulous quarterback by the name of Drew Little. Man, I think is third in the Georgia high school record books in passing behind Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence. I think those two are the only people that have more passing yards in high school. I haven't looked that up, but I'm pretty sure that it's true. So he came in year one, had a fantastic year. Didn't come back year two. We had a few folks step in different years, but then Georgia State found the winning formula, and that is a transfer quarterback. That's what we've had since Nick Arbuckle. Number 4 with the golden arm. That man stepped on campus in 2014, and since then, that has been the blueprint. We'll bring in a transfer quarterback. They'll do pretty good year one. They'll do excellent year two. And let me break that down for you. Nick Arbuckle comes in year one under a Trent Miles offense, and we are a throw first, throw second, throw third type offense. Maybe if the quarterback's arm is getting too tired, that's when we'll try handing the ball off. So you need a special talent at quarterback in order to be able to pull that off. And that's what we had out of this young, I believe it was Pierce College in California, a little JUCO. We found him, and he came in and lit things up. Like the man could throw it this way, and just kept hitting. It was a goddamn pleasure to watch that man play at the Dome. And then his crowning achievement, one of my favorite memories as a Panther fan, is going down to Statesboro in 2015. Georgia Southern talked a whole bunch of shit the year before. They came up and gave us a pretty good beating in our own house. They were favored by 21 points. And little old Georgia State, we had won, I believe, 4 of our last 5 games. We were 5-6, getting ready for a bowl game. First bowl game in school history. Hadn't even been a glimmer. There wasn't the dream of a bowl game 2 years before this. And now we have a chance to do it against a Southern team that's just coming off of a Sun Belt Conference championship. 9 wins. Willie Fritz got them humming along. And what does Georgia State do? Nick Arbuckle rolls out with his big arm and he smacks him right in the face. Son, threw all over the yard. Penny Hart looking like an NFL talent, which he is. Robert Davis just out catching balls. God, I'm trying to remember. We had a glorious running back with flowing blonde hair whose name escapes me right now. But he came in and trucked a few people on his way into the end zone one time, and it warmed my heart. Not only did that happen, but the defense came out, and they said, "No, sir. Young Waku, you go. You get out of here. You're not winning this game. You're not making a field goal. You're gonna make 1 extra point." I think Jarek McKinnon, go suit up for the, go get ready for the combine, son, because you're not getting anything done here today. And that's what we did. Held them to 7 points. Beat the spread by 40-something points. It's goddamn impressive. Still, it's one of the days that I really look back on and say, thank God that I attended this. I want to tell my children I want to look my daughter in the eye and tell her what it was like to go down and take the soul from Georgia Southern in Paulson Stadium. Felt good, son. I don't know if they've had a worse loss yet. I know it was their worst home loss in school history at that time. So, that was a fun memory of Nick Arbuckle shit. Sometimes if the Calgary Stampeders are on TV, I'll flip it on. Yeah, bring on that CFL action. If Nick Arbuckle is out there throwing the rock, I want to see it. So Nick Arbuckle comes in, does great in 2014, 2015. Then he's gone. He's going to make his pro career. Who comes in? A young man by the name of Connor Manning. Where did he come from? It took me a second. I thought it was California. Maybe that's where he grew up. But he transferred from Utah. He was a Ute. And I was a little skeptical of him. I thought Arbuckle was great. I really liked our backup for Arbuckle. I thought, hey, that's going to be our guy, Manning. You know, he can sit on the bench. He'll be a good backup for us. I was wrong. I was wrong, son, because that man came in. He adjusted to the offense. We built up a little bit more of a passing or a little bit more of a running game. Got a little more even-handed there. And then what did he do to finish off his career? After leading us to a bowl game, we go down to Orlando. Second bowl appearance. First bowl win. Another thing that I'm so thankful that I was there for. Like, circumstances conspired against me. I did not get to see us play against San Diego State. Or maybe it was San Jose. It was a California school with San in the name that we played with Nick Arbuckle the week before, or the year before, in 2015. Didn't get to go to that game. Got to go to this game in Orlando against the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers out of Bowling Green, Kentucky. Beautiful place. Great caves down there if you ever want to go. So me and my beautiful fiance, I talk her into going down there, and we see the Panthers just put on a dominant performance. And who walks out as the bowl MVP? Connor Manning. Man just had a fantastic game. Great career as a Georgia State Panther. And where do we go from there? Well, if your answer was another transfer quarterback, that's correct. Because we went all the way to Itawamba Community College. And we found one of the best junior college quarterbacks in the country in Mr. Dantavius Ellington. Man came in, lit things up, was the first true running, like Connor, Nick, they weren't stationary. They could scoot when they needed to, but they were pocket passers. That's what they came to do. Dan Ellington, that man can beat you with his legs, he can beat you with his arm. And that's what he did. You don't believe me? Hey, go ask Tennessee. They'll remember. And I still get chills from that game. I wasn't there, sadly. I did not. I have standing Labor Day plans every year. It's very hard to break them, so I was not in Knoxville for that game. But I did watch it on TV, and it was delicious. I remember, I think after that game, somebody rented out one of those highlight trucks. Just drove back and forth around downtown, playing highlights of that game. And I was there for it. I worked downtown at the time. I'd look out my window, just catch a glimpse of that, and feel warm and fuzzy inside. It was great. So after that, we had 1 year with a quarterback we got out of high school, by a guy by the name of Quad Brown. Liked Quad. I thought Quad was going to be our first high school quarterback to just tear it up and stay on. Didn't end up working out that way, but it's okay. Because on the way out, we found Darren Grainger. That's right. For the ones who gets it done. I might have just called him Devin. His name's Darren Grainger. And he is the one who gets it done. Because I was fearful this was an option quarterback. He transferred out of Furman, had a great reputation of moving around, being great on his feet. I didn't think he'd be able to pass the ball that well, and I was wrong. Yet again, I was wrong. As this man goes out, he can beat you with his feet, he can beat you with the way he reads the option game, and he can beat you through the air. The man has some touch, and he can get it done. You don't believe me? Go ask the people at Auburn. They'll remember. Shoot, I was at that game, and I was all ready for that second SEC win, brother. Ooh. Just came up just short. But you know what? I'm not going to let it get me down. Because this is something that Darren has that the other quarterbacks I've mentioned haven't had. And that is a third year. Because every other quarterback, Nick, Connor, Dan, all had just 2 years with the program. They came in. They did great. But I always wondered, what could have been? What could this team be if this quarterback stays for another year? And I'm seeing that this year with Darren Grainger. 6-1 start. Earliest bowl qualification ever. Best start to the season in school history. And currently, number 1 in the East. Not listen. People talk about the Dukes. Not listening to them. I'll pay attention to the Dukes next year. They're in a transition year. Don't care about them right now. We're number 1. Whew. I'm sorry. I get a little jazzed about my history, but now that I have dropped a little knowledge on you there, let's talk about Georgia Southern. I'll be honest with you. Don't really follow them much. I looked at my score, or I looked at my phone against JMU. Apparently didn't go very well for them. I think they've lost to another team, probably Coastal. That'd be my best guess. But I don't care. Because one, I pay attention to these people 1 week out of the year. And that's game week. And I'll tell you something I do like about this setup. I like beating good Georgia Southern teams. I like when Georgia Southern thinks they got it all put together, they have got things fit, and they are going to assert dominance. And we just break it. And we break them. And that's what I want to see this week in Paulson Stadium. I want to see a repeat of 2015. I want to see a Georgia Southern team that is so thoroughly demoralized. The rest of the year, they're going to play remembering how badly Georgia State owned them this year. That's what I want. And that's what I'm expecting. Bring on Darren Grainger, throw it all over the yard. Shoot, we got Marcus Carroll going to run it all day. If Marcus gets tired, we got that boy Ford, I believe his name is. I think his name's Ford. Anyway, we had a kid come in against Marshall for a series, and dude looked unstoppable. I'm going to look up his name later. I'll put it down here. We got them going. We've got a vicious receiver core. Got a good offensive line. We got an opportunistic defense. Like hell, son, I was a little nervous there at the end of the Louisiana game last week. All defense backed up to the 5-6 yard line. Looks like they're either going to score a touchdown or they'll kick a field goal to force overtime. But what happens? Once you pop, the fun don't stop. Mr. Gavin Pringle jumped up and grabbed that ball out of the air and said, no, this is Georgia State's year, and that's what it is. That's what this year is. It is Georgia State's year. So what I want to see this week, dominance. I want to see us flying around, having fun, having a good time. And then what I want to see is us get back on the bus, 7-1, and getting ready for whoever the next game is. I will look it up and put it down here. All right. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this little chat we've had about Georgia State football. I am Mojo. I'd appreciate it if you left a comment. Let me know what you think of my presentation. And go Panthers. We'll talk at you later. Oh, and like and subscribe. All that.